Stranger Things. This is the original Netflix show that just finished its run a few weeks ago. Now, um, I binged watched this show when it came out. I didn't follow it season by episode by episode. Sorry, I waited while all the episodes had finished, and essentially I binge watch it, which is how I choose to watch shows if I get the opportunity. But it being such a short run of episodes, 8 episodes, I thought I would do it for this series 1. Now, like most, I saw the trailer for this a while ago, and it was a bit of a head scratcher, really. It didn't really make an awful lot clear. It was a lot of mystery around it. What was the show actually going to be about? What was clear was from the trailers and things was the influence from some of the classic movies from the 80s. And so, while I wasn't overly excited for this series, when it was released, the buzz on it was so immense. I was really looking forward to watching it. So, after binge watching all 8 episodes, I think it was a couple of weekends ago when I did it. I have to say, I did thoroughly enjoy the series. It's been kind of put up on a pedestal somewhere by a lot of reviewers and critics, and whereas I don't hold it as in high as esteem of some of those, I do think it had some issues and faults. I do think they've laid a very good foundation for season 2, which has now been confirmed. Okay, so for those that don't know, Stranger Things is a television series that kind of doesn't feel like a television series, if you like. It kind of feels a little bit like a movie, but it's a TV series. It's set in the 80s, and the story revolves around a child that goes missing, called Will, and it centres around his mother desperately trying to find him, the town sheriff looking for him, searching for him, his best friends, a group of lads looking for him, searching for him, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding it, a lot like kind of like supernatural stuff going off, and very weird stuff. And while searching for their best friend, I think it's the end of the first or second episode, the group of friends come across a young girl called 11, who it turns out is a very gifted child and has some like special abilities like telekinesis, etc. And they keep referring to her as like an X-Men type thing, which is quite funny. So that's the basic premise of the story. It's far more complex and in depth than that. Each episode is really well crafted, and it does kind of keep you guessing throughout for a lot of it. It's wonderfully acted, and generally speaking, apart from Winona Ryder, who's excellent in the show, who plays the mother of the missing boy, the rest of the cast are pretty much unknowns. David Harbour plays a sheriff who you will have seen him in a lot of things, but he's never really been a leading man. But due to his performance in this, I would imagine he's going to be getting a lot more work due to this, because he's outstanding in this role as the sheriff, who at the beginning of episode 1, if you like, he is a broken man, and the search for the young boy Will, it almost tears him apart, if you like. What he goes through from season 1 to season 8. The 80s influences are all over this thing really. You can see movie posters everywhere from the 80s. There's music from the 80s. The look is like very much like from a lot of the movies from the 80s, things like Monster Squad, Goonies, a lot of the Spielberg type things, and it feels very much like a Stephen King novel when you watch it. So it's got all these wonderful 80s influences all over it. E.T. as well. I mean, E.T. is everywhere all over this, to the point where it almost becomes plagiarism. Uh, there's some very key scenes that are almost picked right out of certain movies and dropped into this show, and then they've added their own little sprinkling of originality to it, which I think was nice and it was respectful, but I hope it doesn't constantly continue into the next series and so on and so forth, because it potentially could become tiresome. The kids, the actors that play all the children's roles, wonderful really. They're all very, very, very good actresses and actors, especially the young girl seen on screen now that plays 11, Millie Bobby Brown. Very, very mature performance from that young lady. You've got Matthew Modine that plays like the series baddie, and he's got a very off-putted demeanour about him that you just can't quite put your finger on it, but he's not a nice person really in this show. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen the series, other than to say it treads lightly into a lot of different genres. You've got your obviously got your 80s, you've got the family type movie, then you've got the mystery, the sci-fi, and it treads into the horror as well. And it kind of dips in and out of each of them throughout the series, and finishes up probably more so in the horror side of it than anything. Overall, I think Stranger Things, for me, I did enjoy it. I am looking forward to series 2. It didn't blow me away. I saw something I will say about it, but it was wonderfully original, which is what TV shows are absolutely wonderful at these days. If you're wanting original material, TV is the place to go for it these days. So it's definitely worth watching, and I look forward to season 2.